Gotta shine these up, because if it don't shine, it ain't mine.
Elimination portion tomorrow. Tomorrow will be eliminations for heads up. As far as we can go, obviously. But once again, this is the last day.
Okay, we made it to Friday, and we're doing a Friday morning qualifying session. We only got one round last night. There was a good bit of oil downs at the track, and so it just ran late, so we only got one round. We went back to our setup that we had started with. That should do like a 109 60 foot. We just want the truck to go down the track, and we added more power in the mid-range. So here's the good luck. Hopefully it's a good day. Like literally, you see a little bite here, go 3 feet, and then it's like just wrenching the tire. I mean, I kept power out of it for half a second, which I knew is bad, but I needed data to make sure the thing goes straight.
No, what he's saying is like,
no, I know,
it needs to be 10%, 20, 30, 40, never like 60 and then 40. It needs to be always on and more.
No, I know that, but this came up to 200 milligrams and just stayed flat, which is no horsepower. So it came up, stayed flat, and then ramped it. But last night we tried to start at 200 milligrams and go right into the curve, and it just kicked the tires right away. Which everybody tells us it just needs more power. You add more power, you zing the tire.
Wait, that guy runs there. So after the last pass, going back over the data and looking at everything, it looks like we dropped rail pressure about halfway through the pass. So we're going to go through, check the feed tubes on the bill of head, make sure they're torqued. If they are, we're probably going to end up pulling them out, putting new feed tubes in, and hoping that fixes our rail pressure issue.
And by .7 it started turning fuel for wheels. Is that, like if you zoom this out, you can see better, you can see right where the wheelie control turning fuel. Okay, this morning we went soft on the 60 foot because last night we zinged the tire. We wanted to make sure it goes down the track. Went really soft on the 60 foot, 119, and we also had a fuel rail pressure problem. The feed tubes on the aluminum head, we have to keep retorquing the feed tubes every 20 or so passes, and rail pressure definitely had a high pressure leak, so we retorqued the feed tubes, and we're ready for tonight. The sun's out, so they're not running RVW this afternoon, so we got all day to try to manipulate what we want to do at the tune-up. It's really hard for us to know exactly how aggressive to be, because we know we have to turn it up into 60 foot to go fast, but we also don't want to kick the tire, so we're trying to make some educated changes, talk to other knowledgeable people on the grounds, and we're going to go give it our best shot tonight.
To the racetrack as we always do.
I want to go like 160 for .1, and then that's what I'd love to do, but I don't quite care. Because if it goes up and zings it, I'll be like, why the heck did you try it?
But at the same time, I keep trying to remind myself, we are not here to win. We are here to learn. So if we do not try things, we do not learn.
Right. But if we don't go down the racetrack, we don't learn.
I know. Also true.
Well, you're still learning. You're still learning what not to do.
I mean,
it's painful. You know, it's Phil's thinking we're putting too much to the tire, so it's spiking.
We're starting a bounce, and then you're not going to stop a bounce. Like, it's just all it's doing.
That actually makes sense.
He thinks the tire is going like this. So he thinks if you can come out and roll it and then drive into it, it'll be, the G meter will stay flat. That's what his theory is.
That makes sense though.
So what I've watched and all the videos I've looked at of it, so we hit the tire, it sticks, it spins about an eighth turn, and then it goes back to spinning, back to sticking.
Stop.
It needs to stop. It needs to stick and not do that. But I don't know how to do that.
That would be the lesson.
I know how to do it. You do it how John Mello told us to do it.
We can do that second round.
That's what I'm saying.
The first next round, I want to try this theory.
That's
So
fine.
if this theory works, we don't have to be aggressive on power till 0.3 because it'll come up and it'll just hold that G. It's not going to go hook.
Or it's not going to set the tire, and you won't have any kind of leverage on the tire when you bring power into it, and then it's going to zing.
At least we know what we will or won't do.
We don't know. Gotta shine these up because if it don't shine, it ain't mine. I was gonna say I'll do Cody's job for him, but I decided I'll just shine my own wheels.
What does this say?
KJ said something about cooking dinner at, I don't know, what is it, midnight-ish? Something really late. But today was, I don't know, good for testing patience maybe? But we sat around a lot. Like, thought we might make it to the track by 7 or 8. And then I don't know, finally got called to the lanes around 9 maybe, and then even then it was just painfully slow. So finally made a pass, I think it was around 11. Just, I don't know, the pace of track prep and a good bit of cleanups and a lot of other stuff just kept stuff going slow. But sat around all day to do another wheelie, so learned another thing not to do. We tried to, I don't know, come off fairly soft and then come into a lot of power. Drove into over 3.6 Gs, but also did a big wheelie. So another thing not to do, and we'll try again in the morning and see if we can come up with a better recipe. I don't know.
Saturday. This is the last go around. We did make it into qualifying for RVW, so we're going into eliminations first thing Saturday morning. So this is going to be our last shot at making this truck go down the track and put a number on the board. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking to know that you got to get the thing down the track, but you still want to put a good number. But we take our best educated guess and we're going to send it and see what happens.
So if you're curious what happened, that is part of our valve guide, and it's supposed to be in the engine and not on the outside. So we are done.
Well, we didn't reach our 3-second goal for the week, but altogether we got a lot of stuff accomplished. We made a total of 23 passes since Tuesday morning, and for a truck that has never been on radials before, and to be able to set a record and go 411 and 106 to the 60 foot all in 1 week is phenomenal for us. There's people that have tried to do this for years and just always struggle, and we have learned so much. much. So we can take this data and know that we've got a couple things we can change. We'll probably want a little bit looser torque converter, and we may want to add some more ballast up front so we can keep the nose planted, because every time you add horsepower you need to add more weight and make the rear shocks extend faster. It's just a learning curve that we've learned, but I think we can take this knowledge and we'll be able to apply it into what we need for the big tires, and it's going to make us go even faster on big tires. So we were really happy with the results. Even though we had mechanical problems in the final round of eliminations, we feel accomplished, and we're going to go home with a smile on our face. So we're going to start wrapping this thing up and hit the road for Ohio and do this again probably next year. What are we doing?
Going to a bocce.
We're going to hibachi. Yep, it is Saturday night. We're on the way home. We're just north of Atlanta, and we're going to Shogun's because we have not got a lot of sleep, and we have ate at all random times of the day for the whole week. So we're excited to sit down at a good restaurant and get some grub. Then we're going to go home and be home in the middle of the night. Bird out! Do it!
The feeling of death is kicking in.
Death is going to be to my southern region after this meal. It's going to be fantastic.
That's what you call full rectum destruction. Hey Braxton, what'd you have for lunch, buddy? A roll of bubble gum? Was it good?
Why are you so hyper right now?
Yesterday I made him a deli sandwich, and I had a bun, mayonnaise, cheese, and then I put ham on it, and he started crying. And he's like, I was like, what's wrong? He's like, I don't want the ham. I'm like, so you just want cheese and mayonnaise? He's like, yeah. He ate the whole thing.
It was an ungrilled grilled cheese.
Oh, that's not right.
Frazzle.
That was a pretty big fire.
Dude, it's like it almost caught it on fire.
Now everybody can take naps. Braxton's sleeping in the bed, getting ready to go to bed. He likes watching Tom and Jerry. And then we've got Larson sleeping on the floor under the table. Cody sleeping on the couch. Austin sleeping on the couch. Rick's sleeping on the floor. Connor's up front. Lynn's driving. And we're still watching RVW while we drive home. So it works out pretty good. Okay, we got back from Georgia and we got the truck apart, and we were thinking that the cylinder pressure plug had come out and went through the valve cover. Turns out we had a bigger problem than that. Thursday morning we had a big nitrous backfire in the burnout when it was cold, or maybe it was that Wednesday evening? I can't really remember when it was, but one of the evenings it was like 45 degrees going to the line. Nitrous comes on. When it's too cold, it actually puts the fire out and fuel goes in the cylinder. There's not enough heat for combustion, and the injector fires 5 or 6 times with no combustion, and then the 7th time that it hits, it all lights at once, and it made like a 4-foot flame out the stack. It's extreme cylinder spike. We actually did this on the engine dyno when we had cylinder pressure monitoring, and we saw the cylinder pressure spike go over 10,000 psi. And what happened there was this valve, which is now in 2 pieces, began to tulip. All that pressure was in there, and it actually bent the valve up. And we made it, 2.5 more passes until this valve decided to tulip enough that it actually broke. And this broke off, and this went out the exhaust. We found this in the turbine housing of the turbo, and then this valve stem was left without anything to hold it, and the next time compression was there, it literally shot this valve stem through the valve cover. So altogether, we kind of had warning signs after that nitrous backfire to know that we should not be running it, because you could hear a valve tick in the exhaust. But we were at Georgia and we really wanted to go for a 3-second pass, and we were hoping it would hang in there, but it didn't. So we assumed that risk. Any other time, any other event, we would have probably parked it, pulled the head, and we'd be able to fix this really easily by just swapping the valve and doing a valve job. But we actually got really lucky as far as the piston. There's a little bit of scoring here on the piston. It didn't get in the cylinder walls. There's not even any major mayhem. Looking at the engine, this engine has 99 passes on it between the 17 passes on the engine dyno, and the passes that we have on the drag strip. I went through all our data logs and counted. We have exactly 99 passes on this short block. It's been 79 passes since we've had the head off the truck. After the engine dyno, we had pulled the head and look at everything, put the head back on, and haven't touched it all summer long. Cylinder walls still look great. There's still a nice bit of cross-hatching on the cylinder walls. We weren't seeing any excess cylinder pressure or crankcase pressure. We really believe that this engine has been healthy, and we'd probably be able to go another 50 passes or so before it really needs a refresh. But to fix this, we're going to have to work on the head, and Drew's going to get, Drew at D&J Precision Machines, we'll probably be building a new head this winter that's going to have top feed injectors, because with the aluminum head, it grows, the whole aluminum block and head grows like 18 thou in 200 degree of oil temperature change. And that top feed injector is going to eliminate any problems that we've had with the injector feed tubes not sealing correctly when the engine gets really hot. Something we battled on the engine dyno, and we had to actually make a thicker injector copper to get a better alignment on the injector to feed tube. But altogether, we're really happy with what this engine has done for us this summer. We're going to get this thing fixed up and try to have this truck back on the track in January. One other thing we found that the nitrous backfire caused is these runners. This is an all billet one-piece runner, and this number 6 port is actually ballooned from the cylinder pressure. When the intake valve was open, it obviously got to the intake port. So I'll have you can see how this one's ballooned in comparison to how number 1 is. It's pretty crazy what the explosion of combustion gases leaving the cylinder can do to everything else inside and out. So seeing this, we see how important it is to make sure that we don't have a nitrous backfire. And so what we'll do is we'll go in the Bosch and we'll program the ambient air temperature into a table with the nitrous enable, to where if as the ambient temperature outside gets cooler, then the EGT has to be higher before the nitrous comes on, and we should be able to eliminate the possibility of nitrous ever coming on before the engine has enough heat in it for combustion. So altogether, mistakes like this, they are expensive to fix, but we try to learn from them so it doesn't happen again, and that's what racing's all about.